Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. Over 100 people are feared to be dead and several injured after a stampede in UP's Hathras district. Majority of those killed are women. A religious preacher and his wife were addressing a large gathering when a stampede ensued. Hindenburg says it has received a show-cause notice from Sebi over the Adani controversy, hits out at the market regulator. After being named by Hindenburg, Kotak Mahindra International distanced itself from the US-based short seller, says it was not aware that Hindenburg was a partner of any of its investors. Sebi directs stock exchanges and other market infra institutions to charge brokers uniformly and equally starting the 1st of October, says volume-based discounts could impact transparency and curb fair access to all players. The move is expected to have a significant impact on the revenue of discount broking firms. Prime Minister Modi attacks the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi amid sloganeering in the Lok Sabha, says the government is concerned about question paper leaks and promises action against culprits. Gandhi protests to the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla after several remarks from his speech yesterday were expunged. The Defence Ministry notifies its fifth positive indigenization list, identifies 346 critical items worth a total import substitution value of 1,000 crore rupees. A plan to increase exports to over 135 countries is also on the cards. After banning it for a year, the Haryana government approves the construction of stilt plus 4-floor buildings in residential areas, also allows owners to sell independent floors. The former Army Chief General BP Malik protests, calling it an absurd policy. Assam and Arunachal Pradesh reel under severe floods. More than 30 people have died so far. Over 6 lakh people displaced across 1,300 villages. The Met Department warns of moderate to heavy rains over the next 3 to 4 days. Former US President Donald Trump seeks to set aside his conviction in the hush money case. Lawyers ask a New York judge to delay the sentencing hours after the US Supreme Court ruled that Trump has immunity from prosecution for certain actions taken in office. President Biden denounces the top court's verdict. Also on the show, more and more companies are embracing the experience economy. A special report on how Netflix, Airbnb are expanding into a niche market which is expected to hit 10,000 crore rupees in India by next year. Well, let's start with the market action for the day. The sensex and the nifty did hit a record high in early trade, but the gains could not be sustained on account of profit booking. So finally, we saw both the indices closing with marginal losses. Mid-caps and bank stocks saw sharper cuts, losing nearly 1%. So that's the story for the markets today. A flat close for both the sensex and the nifty. Now, an important cue for the market tomorrow. HDFC Bank has just released its latest shareholding pattern, which shows that foreign institutional investors, FIIs, currently hold less than 55% stake in the bank. Now, why is this important? Because this could lead to an increase in its weight in the MSCI index, which will in turn lead to more inflows into the stock. The FII holding had to fall below 55.5% for more inflows to come in. Now that that has happened, the markets expect fresh inflows of anywhere between $3 to $4 billion. Remember, this has been an overhang on the HDFC Bank stock, so this could potentially mean good news when the stock opens tomorrow. US-based short seller Hindenburg has revealed that it received a show-cause notice from market regulator Sebi over the Adani controversy. In January last year, Hindenburg took short positions in Adani Enterprises and accused the conglomerate of stock manipulation and accounting fraud. Adani Group refuted the charges. Now, Sebi has sent a show-cause notice to Hindenburg for its trading activities in the Adani Enterprises stock. Hindenburg also said that Kotak India Opportunities Fund created the offshore fund structure used to bet against Adani. In response, Kotak Mahindra International has distanced itself from Hindenburg, saying it was not aware if the US short seller was a partner of any of its investors. Sudarshan is standing by now with more details. Sudarshan.
So Hindenburg Adani case is back in focus. So what has happened through the day? Hindenburg today early morning has come out with a disclosure saying it has received a show cause notice from Indian market regulator Sebi. Remember, in January 2023, this US based firm had come out with a report on Adani Group alleging stock manipulation by Gautam Adani led group companies. Now coming to the show cause notice details that Hindenburg says it received on June 27, there are 3 major points that can be highlighted. Hindenburg says Sebi notice outlines suspected violations of Indian regulations. It mentions its relationship with an investor that expressed short position in Adani, and its report contains certain misrepresentations and inaccurate statements. On the issue of jurisdiction, Hindenburg says, and I quote, Much of the notice seemed designed to imply that our legal and disclosed investment stance was something secret or to advance legal arguments claiming jurisdiction over us. Note that we are a US-based research firm with 0 Indian entities, employees, consultants or operations. Some of these arguments seem circular. For example, the regulator claimed that the disclaimers in our report were misleading because we were indirectly participating in the Indian securities market and therefore were short Adani. This wasn't a mystery. Virtually everyone on earth knew we were short Adani because we prominently and repeatedly disclosed it, I unquote. And on the issue of its relationship with an investor that expressed short position in Adani, Hindenburg says Kotak Bank created and oversaw the offshore fund structure used by its investor partner to bet against Adani. Now, after this, Kotak Mahindra International has come out with a statement. It says company and KIO state that Hindenburg has never been a client of the firm or nor been an investor. Also, the fund was never aware that Hindenburg was a partner of any of its investors. It has also received a confirmation and declaration from fund's investor that its investment were made as a principal, not on behalf of any other person. And after this statement, the stock of Kotak Mahindra Bank has made a recovery of almost 2% from intraday low that it hit.
So many thanks for joining us and staying with that. Kotak Mahindra International has also just confirmed receiving a show cause notice from Sebi. Ritu is here with more details. Ritu, an updated release coming in from Kotak Mahindra Bank. So it's not just Hindenburg, but even Kotak has received a show cause notice from the regulator.
That's right, Shireen. In a statement to exchanges a short while ago, they continue to distance themselves from the issue. But Kotak Mahindra did say that its K India Opportunities Fund Limited, which is in turn managed by Kotak Mahindra International Limited or KMIL, has received a show cause notice from Sebi, which was dated the 26th of June, but was received by Kotak today. Now, they've clarified that the transactions in respect of which these allegations are being made were made by the fund on the advice and for the benefit of its investor Kingdon, that is Kingdon Capital, and Kotak was informed by Kingdon that the transactions were made on a principal basis, which means for the capital fund themselves. Now, Kotak Mahindra said that Kingdon never disclosed to them if they had any relationship whatsoever with Hindenburg, nor were they acting on the basis of any price-sensitive information which has been alleged. In fact, they had expressly confirmed that the advice from Kingdon to invest will be on the basis of purely public information. They further said that neither the fund nor KMIL were aware that these entities had any association. They also said that there was no prior public knowledge of the publication of this report, which was again part of the allegations. So again, distancing themselves from acting in collusion in any manner with Hindenburg or with Hindenburg, and they also said that they're extending their full cooperation with Sebi in this matter and are sharing all the relevant facts as they emerge.
All right, Ritu, many thanks for joining us. And staying with news from the market regulator, Sebi has directed stock exchanges and other market infra institutions to charge brokers uniformly and equally starting the 1st of October. The regulator has said that volume-based discounts could impact transparency and curb fair access to all players. Now, the move is expected to have a significant impact on the revenue of discount broking firms. Meanwhile, online trading platform Zerodha has said that they will let go of the zero brokerage structure and increase brokerage for F&O trades for the first off the block there. That is Zerodha. Time for our daily monsoon tracker. Rainfall deficit on a pan-India basis has narrowed to single digits with the monsoon gathering momentum across several states. As per data available till yesterday, 13 of the 36 states and union territories have received surplus rainfall while 21 faced deficiency. The Met Department has predicted above normal monsoon in July. Power Ministry officials will hold consultations with their colleagues from the Ministry of Earth Sciences tomorrow to devise ways to get a better forecast of demand for electricity in order to streamline the use of resources. Power Secretary Pankaj Agarwal told CNBC TV 18 that power demand will peak in September and October this year.
We had projected our 2031-32 peak demand as 384 gigawatt. And in the last 2 years, we have witnessed very sharp increase. This year, in terms of megawatt, it is already up by more than 9%. And in terms of million units, it is already up by about 11%. If we compare the Q1 of the current financial year with the Q1 of the previous financial year.
Well, the Defence Ministry has notified its fifth positive indigenization list. It has identified 346 critical defence items with a total import substitution value of 1,000 crore rupees. The decision is in sync with moving more aggressively on self-reliance in the NDA government's third term. Parikshit standing by with more. Parikshit.
The Defence Ministry has notified the fifth positive indigenization list. This includes critical raw materials, spares and components, systems and subsystems, assemblies and sub-assemblies of weapons and weapon systems. A total of 346 items have been identified by defence PSUs like Mazgaon Dock Limited, HAL, Bharat Electricals, Bharat Dynamics, BEML and others. The total import substitution value of these products would be approximately 1,000 crore. These items would be procured only from Indian suppliers after the timelines mentioned in the notification. For all these goods, the indigenization timeline is anywhere between December 2025 and December 2028. The MOD has already indigenized 2,972 items out of 4,666 mentioned in the four earlier indigenization lists. The fifth list has items like diesel engines, an integrated platform management system for submarines, components for light machine guns, light field guns and Dhanush artillery gun. Close to 100 components used by T-90 battle tanks, components used in LCA, Su-30 MKI, Dornier and Jaguar fighters, ship-borne unmanned aerial vehicles are also mentioned in the list. Sources say the MOD is likely to put greater emphasis on self-reliance, innovation, indigenization in the defence sector in the NDA government's third term. The government will move forward more aggressively with the indigenization and import substitution plan. The Defence Ministry is targeting an increase in export footprint from 106 nations currently to 135 nations. The MOD and MEA will intensify efforts to engage with friendly nations to export defence equipment in the third term.
Parikshit, many thanks for joining us. The big story coming in this evening. Over 100 people reportedly have been killed after a stampede broke out at a religious event in a village in UP's Hathras district. As per eyewitnesses, a religious preacher and his wife were addressing a gathering comprising mostly women and children at a tent at Rati Bhanpur village, located on the border of Eta and Hathras districts. The stampede broke out when the event came to an end and people started rushing towards the exit. You can watch on your screens visuals from the event just moments before the stampede broke out. At least 150 people have been admitted at the Eta Medical College. The Chief Minister Adityanath has directed officials to speed up rescue and relief operations.
ये रोड के किनारे खड़े हुए थे, धक्का लगा, वो नीचे गिरते हुए चले गए, एक दूसरे के ऊपर गिरते चले हुए, नीचे जो लोग दब गए वो निकल नहीं पाए। कम से कम 100 आदमी थे, कम से कम नीचे दबे हुए हैं वो। हाँ कुछ एक्सपायर भी कुछ ज़्यादातर हो चुके हैं, वहाँ पे 20-25 तो ऑन स्पॉट ही कर चुके हैं, ऑन स्पॉट खत्म हुए।
एक्सीडेंट नहीं हुआ यहाँ पर, ऐसे गुरु की गाड़ी गई थी ना, तो वो जा रहे थे कि हमारे प्रभु गए, ये भागे, उसमें दब गए, एक से ऊपर चढ़ गए वो। बाइक भी गई है, कम से 100-200 आदमी तो है पक्का।
यूपी के हाथरस में जो भगदड़ हुई, उसमें अनेकों लोगों की दुखद मृत्यु होने की जानकारी आ रही है। जिन लोगों की इस हादसे में जान गई है, मैं उनके प्रति अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं। मैं सभी घायलों के जल्द से जल्द ठीक होने की कामना करता हूं। राज्य सरकार की देखरेख में प्रशासन राहत और बचाव कार्य में जुटा हुआ है।
Well, that is the Prime Minister in Parliament. And speaking of the Prime Minister, he launched an attack on the opposition and Lok Sabha opposition leader Rahul Gandhi while replying to the motion of thanks to the President's address in the Lok Sabha. In his 2.5-hour-long speech amid sloganeering by the opposition MPs demanding justice for Manipur, Modi highlighted the achievements of the last 10 years of his government before singling out the Congress without naming Rahul Gandhi. The Prime Minister said that what he saw yesterday in the Parliament was childish behaviour. The Prime Minister accused the Congress of making up stories and called the Congress party a parasite for its allies.
आदरणीय सभापति जी, बालक बुद्धि में ना बोलने का ठिकाना होता है और न ही बालक बुद्धि में व्यवहार का कोई ठिकाना होता है। और जब ये बालक बुद्धि पूरी तरह सवार हो जाती है तो सदन में भी किसी के गले पड़ जाते हैं। कांग्रेस के इतिहास का ये पहला मौका है जब लगातार तीन बार कांग्रेस 100 का आंकड़ा पार नहीं कर पाई है। कांग्रेस के इतिहास में ये तीसरी सबसे बड़ी हार है।
Well, that's the Prime Minister in Parliament. Early in the day, Rahul Gandhi wrote to the Speaker, Om Birla, after a significant part of his speech from last evening was expunged. The portions include his comments on Prime Minister Modi, the BJP, RSS, among others. In a letter addressed to the Speaker, Gandhi said that portions expunged do not come under the ambit of Rule 380 of the Rules of Procedure and the Conduct of Business in Lok Sabha.
मोदी जी की दुनिया में सच्चाई एक्सपंज हो सकती है, मगर रियलिटी में सच्चाई एक्सपंज नहीं हो सकती है। जो मैंने कहा था, जो मैंने कहना था, मैंने कह दिया, वो सच्चाई है। और एक्सपंज करें, जितना करना है करें, सच्चाई होती है।
A look at some of the other headlines tonight. Shares of allied blenders and distillers made a positive debut on the Lal Street. The stock listed at a 320 rupee per share, which is a premium of nearly 14% over its IPO price. The liquor company's IPO was subscribed by over 23 times, led by strong demand from qualified institutional investors. Fresh layoffs at Unacademy. We learned from sources that the EdTech startup has laid off 250 employees across marketing, sales and product functions. Around 100 employees that were laid off were based on sales performance, as per company sources. The company told CNBC TV 18 this layoff round is part of a recent restructuring exercise and was necessary, keeping in mind the company's goals and vision for the year. They also added they will provide support to impacted employees during this transition. Remember, Unacademy has laid off close to 10% of its workforce in March last year to cut costs and achieve profitability, so further cost cuts coming in. Zomato's financial services arm has withdrawn its application for a non-banking financial company license. The application has been withdrawn as Zomato doesn't intend to pursue the lending and credit business anymore. In an exchange filing, Zomato said there's no material impact on the company's revenue or its operations. In the aviation space, the Delhi High Court has issued a contempt notice to SpiceJet for failing to adhere to its earlier order. The High Court has directed SpiceJet to return 2 aircraft and 3 engines to TWC Capital by the 17th of June. However, the airline claims that the 2 aircraft frames have been returned. It's also submitted that 3 engines are still in service and will be replaced. The matter has been listed for hearing on the 9th of July. The Finance Minister is expected to table the Union budget for the fiscal year later this month. The auto industry is batting for concessions for hybrid CNG and flex fuel vehicles. It also expects the government to announce more incentives to ensure the adoption of electric vehicles. However, industry is vigilant about the government's need to maintain a fine balance between EV affordability and fiscal discipline. Abhimanyu has more.
Budget 2024 is here and India's automobile industry is looking for clarity on the third phase of the FAME scheme. While two-wheeler makers are getting ready to work with reduced subsidies, makers of hybrid, CNG and flex fuel vehicles are hoping for some fiscal concessions in order to promote these technologies.
The need to support new technology which is more expensive and therefore needs to be brought more be made for more affordable for consumers. The other one, of course, is the need to maintain fiscal discipline. It's not only India but many other economies which are grappling with this issue. Going ahead, I think the industry does recognize that subsidies cannot carry on forever. And I think the government also is very cognizant of the fact that the momentum that's been gained so far needs to be maintained. So I believe a balanced approach will emerge, taking all stakeholders into consideration.
As it pertains to electric vehicle mobility, we would request that the government continue the type of progressive policies that it has implemented over the last 5 years. I don't think subsidies are there forever, but until the critical mass is reached and, it becomes almost irreversible, reversible so that the upfront cost of ownership can be mitigated, these should be continued. But they are not here forever, and the industry very well recognizes that.
There is a continuing demand from the auto industry for demand-side incentives and PLI schemes to make sure that EVs achieve a critical mass. There is also a focus on fiscal discipline, as subsidies will not last forever. In Delhi with video journalist Balbir Singh, this is Abhimanyu Sharma for CNBC TV 18.
Now, the Haryana government has lifted a 16-month ban on the construction of stilt plus 4 floors in residential areas. The state government has allowed construction of the houses in sectors with the approved density plans. However, former Army Chief VP Malik has said that this move could have a significant impact on the ecology and living conditions of people. Shivani Bajaj joins us now with the details. Shivani, take us through the order as well as the reactions coming in.
Well, despite major protests from resident bodies, the Haryana government has lifted its 16-month ban on stilt plus 4-floor constructions in residential sectors. This decision applies to areas where the layout plan for 4 dwellings per unit or a density of 18 persons per plot is approved. The government has also approved the stilt plus 4 floor in areas with plans for 3 dwellings per plot, provided the plot is adjacent to a 10-meter or wider road. Such constructions can only happen with either a mutual consent agreement with adjoining plot owners or specific side setbacks on each floor for proper aeration and sunlight. These policies are based on the recommendations of an expert committee that studied the issue, according to DTPC Haryana. A few months ago, DTPC Gurugram had said that those houses who have built the 4th floor illegally will not be certified and can also face demolitions. However, the new policy is a U-turn, as it says that the violators of the earlier rule, those who constructed stilt plus 4 floors with prior approval, they can now apply for approval by paying a penalty 10 times the rate prescribed for unapproved constructions and enduring conformity to the Haryana Building Code within a 90-day period. This move has been criticized by many, including the ex-Army Chief General VP Malik, who believes that this is profiteering and appeasement of the builder lobby in Haryana. General Malik told CNBC TV 18 that this move will impact the ecology and the living conditions of people in Haryana's residential areas. Back to you.
Shivani, many thanks. Up next on India Business Hour, more and more companies are embracing the experience economy, which is pegged to hit 10,000 crore rupees in India by next year. Special report when we return. You can catch all of CNBC TV 18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. Assam and Arunachal Pradesh are reeling under severe floods. More than 30 people have died so far, over 6 lakh people displaced across 1,300 villages. The Met Department has warned of moderate to heavy rains over the next 3 to 4 days. The Delhi High Court has agreed to hear Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's plea against his CBI arrest. The court has issued a notice to the investigation agency on Kejriwal's plea and has sought a response. The matter will be heard now on the 17th of July. Israel has carried out strikes in southern Gaza after ordering an immediate evacuation of eastern areas of Khan Yunis. The attacks forced hundreds of Palestinians in the densely populated neighborhoods. Witnesses also reported multiple strikes in and around the city. In central Gaza Strip, Israeli troops were seen targeting the northern areas of the refugee camp. Air attacks also destroyed 2 houses, killing 2 Palestinians, including a child. So far, at least 37,900 Palestinians have been killed and over 80,000 injured since the war began. Former US President Donald Trump has sought to set aside his conviction in the hush money case. Lawyers have asked a New York judge to delay the sentencing hours after the US Supreme Court ruled that Trump has immunity from prosecution for certain actions taken in office. President Biden has denounced the top court's verdict. Well, businesses are no longer about selling a product or just a service. They're about the customer experience. And with artificial intelligence and virtual and augmented reality taking the world by storm, businesses are increasingly reworking their approach to not just sales, but to product development itself. Shivani Bajaj takes stock of what is fast becoming the experience economy.
Well, in a world of virtual and augmented reality, consumers are demanding more real experiences and brands are listening. Netflix, the streaming behemoth, is once again reshaping entertainment. Not through screens this time, but through real-life experiences with its new initiative, Netflix House, a venture that offers fans an immersive dive into their favorite shows and movies. From interactive sets of Stranger Things to culinary delights inspired by The Crown, Netflix House promises a unique blend of entertainment and reality. This move is a part of a broader trend in the business world, the rise of the experience economy.
The term experience economy was coined by B. Joseph Pine II and James H. Gilmore in 1998 and refers to a shift from selling goods and services to selling experiences. As more and more consumers crave memorable and engaging interactions with brands, companies are responding by creating immersive interactive experiences. Netflix is just the latest to jump on this trend. Airbnb is tapping into it with its Icons Extraordinary Experiences project. The initiative offers unique activities hosted by celebrities and experts. Bollywood's Janhvi Kapoor is one of the first 11 icons offering an overnight stay at her family home in Chennai, where guests can learn her beauty secrets and enjoy her favorite South Indian dishes. Other unique experiences include a stay in the house that featured in the Disney's movie Up.
With Icons, I think it's the beginning of us going beyond just being a place to stay. I also think, like I said on stage, this is not just a house, it's an experience. And I think ultimately at its best, Airbnbs are not just homes, they're experiences. And I think experiences is where we're going, more creativity is where we're going. And I think magic, trying to like take this magic that only exists in our imagination. And there's a lot of brands that like create magic, but to bring that into reality, that's where I think we can uniquely like excel.
The experience economy is not a fad by the looks of things. A report by Event Marketing Institute shows 74% of consumers say that they have a better opinion about a brand after an event or an experience. According to the Events and Entertainment Management Association, EMA, the experiential marketing sector in India is projected to reach 10,000 crore rupees by 2025, doubling from its value in 2020. The experience economy has also become an industry of its own, propelling the live events business on a growth spurt globally. In India, brands like Book My Show have benefited. From selling 10 million tickets annually in 2014, the platform saw sales cross 200 million tickets in 2019. And a lot of this has come from experiential events, from concerts to sporting events to stand-up comedy shows and theatre.
Indian companies are keen to offer customers an experience they would want to return for. Whether it's food and entertainment carnival like the Zomaland by Zomato or the Myntra Fashion Weekend where visitors can experience fashion shows, shopping sprees and celebrity interactions. After all, the customer is king and queen and the customer wants an experience that will last a lifetime. In New Delhi, this is Shivani Bajaj.
Well, that's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. But before we go, we leave you with visuals of a mass wedding held for over 52 couples by Mukesh and Neeta Ambani. This is part of the pre-wedding celebrations of Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant. From all of us here, thanks for watching.